I don't even know where to begin. 12 days. There are 12 days left until I move to Dubai. There is honestly so much that I could say and cover over the last 12 months, but I think that is a story that I will tell another day. What I want to focus on in this video is a little bit more about the process and the journey that I've gone on in order to relocate myself and Hercules, who has no idea what's coming. Come here. Do you want to say hi to the camera? Say hi. He's on guard. He is protecting the household. Aren't you? You're protecting the household. So he's probably just going to sit there, occasionally bark. But me and Hercules are moving to Dubai. I can't quite put into words my emotions and my feelings because there's just been so much that has gone into this so far. And anyone who's probably coming from my Instagram or knows me personally or has known me for a long time will know I have, in the last 12 months, done a complete, not even 180, 360 in terms of my life and what I had planned and then where I'm going now. And it's been a lot of change in what feels like a short period of time. I am very much looking forward to getting settled, but I also anticipate there are going to be a lot of challenges moving across the world, being one, but also I'm so used to having a stable income. So now moving and managing my own business is a whole nother ball game as well. So let's actually go back a little bit to, I guess, when this started. So in March 2024, I sold my house. Shush, darling. I need to think about what I actually want to say. Herky, no, don't you dare. No. No one's there. Come here. He's trying to jump off. He's not allowed to jump that high. Don't do it. Sit. Shush. Shush, more. It's okay. I know you're doing your job. Trying to film with a miniature dachshund, guys. Okay, I honestly don't have a clue where to begin or where to even take this video. However, let's just talk about my living situation. Let's focus on that. So in March of this year, I finally, after a year of it being on the market, sold my house. And the plan of action at that point in time, Herky, please shush, darling. He's gonna grumble the whole way through. The plan of action at that point of time is I was in the process of purchasing a new property in Derbyshire. So it was moving away from Stratford-upon-Avon, if you're familiar with England, into Derbyshire, which is local to where I was when I was in foster care. No, darling. Shush. It was local to my foster family. It was local to a lot of friends. I had started to establish and build a community up in Derbyshire. It's got good gyms and it was just a good place for me to operate Zenith as well as still work my full-time corporate job. Unfortunately, the vision and the dream of Derby would never come to fruition because the house that I was purchasing actually fell through literally 3 weeks before we were meant to complete. So there was no chance of me holding things up for my buyer. The UK at that point in time had changed a lot of things with stamp duty as well, which meant from April, stamp duty prices were going to go through the roof. It would have just been a nightmare. So at that point in time, I decided I'm going to break the chain and I'm going to reassess my situation and what I want to do. Now, I was very, very, very fortunate at that time as I was going through some of the stresses of just purchasing a house. I had my nearest and dearest best friend, Hattie, who was with me throughout the entire process of selling my house and trying to purchase a new one and trying to find my identity and where I wanted to go. And she just turned around and she said, why don't you just have a break and come and live with me? And at the time, we've had this conversation, I thought it was a terrible idea. I have always lived with people up until September 2024. So between September 2024 and March 2025, I was living by myself and I'd become very accustomed to living by myself. And finally, after all my life, I'd never ever been comfortable in silence or my own company. But based on where I lived, which was a little bit more isolating than a normal area because I didn't have a strong community down there, I just got accustomed to being by myself. So I was really, really concerned. I've never lived with a friend before. I've moved house to house. I've lived with foster carers, family, etc. But I've never lived with a friend before because I didn't go to uni. So I was a little bit concerned because I cherish the friendship that I have with her. And I was like, what if we fall out? What if I annoy you? What if you want me to move out? There's so many questions. But anyway, she was very persistent. And if you don't, go and follow her. Go and look at her YouTube channel. She is absolutely killing it. But if you know Hattie, she is persistent. And she is so loving and caring. And she really, really, really just put me under her wing when I was going through a rough time. So she said, come and move with me. Now, this is also off of the back of a trip that we did in January. So in January, myself and Hattie went to Dubai together. And the trip was a bit of a hybrid of a holiday and work. I was filming her content as part of the trip. And I remember being in the Airbnb and having a few moments of, wow, this is a different life. And this could be work. And it was that realization of this could be my full-time job. And again, there's a lot in the story that Hattie has said and encouraged. So forgive me if I mention her. So we were in the Airbnb one night and Hattie just went, I think you should move to Dubai. And I kind of went, whoa, I would love to, but I don't even know how that's possible, how that's feasible. Not sure. Let me go and reflect. I am very much someone that needs to take things away and go and reflect on them. I was like, I'm not sure. And we kind of just laughed it off at the time. And then I had a memory pop up in my phone and it was from February 2024, so a year prior. It's a video of me in Dubai, in my Airbnb, saying how much I would love to live in a location like that. I kind of saw that as a sign. So when the house fell through, maybe I was not meant to purchase a house in the UK. So from there, we decided we were going to do another trip to Dubai, but we were going to do a full trial of what it was like to live there. It was very spontaneous. I think we booked it about 2 weeks beforehand. So I was flying out with Hattie. I was planning to do some work for her. She introduced me to someone called Kira. If you're not following, you need to go and check out Kira. So I shot with Kira as well whilst we were out there. Then I shot with another client who's actually my coach and my mentor, Joe Cross. So I was going from one client in Dubai to, okay, this trip, we've got 3 clients. I was only there for 7 days and I had 5 shoots booked in. So this for me became let me really test this idea and this theory of, do I want to move? And honestly, a lot of people look at Dubai and they look at the glitz and they look at the glam, and that's not what calls me to Dubai. The general lifestyle that you can have. I don't want anything fancy. I want a nice small apartment in a quiet area where I can happily walk Hercules. I want to be able to train at a nice gym and then just build up a bit of a community. Hey, darling. Oh, yes, there's a woman there. He's going to bark in a second. I know. All right. Doesn't need all that. She's gone. I need to get control of my dog before I live in an apartment. Anyhow, that trip just solidified everything to me. Before I went, I had actually come up with a timeline, and that timeline actually consisted of me moving for New Year. Then it shifted to October, just before I went to Dubai. And then from there, whilst I was out in Dubai, I had a moment one night. I can't even describe fully what happened, but I just had an ice bath. I just spent some time meditating, and I knew I needed to come home and hand in my notice immediately. And that's what I did, which was terrifying. I landed back in the UK, and the very, very next day, I jumped on the phone with my boss and I handed in my notice and my resignation to my corporate job, which at this point, I will just say, my career in the corporate world had been something I absolutely loved and I worked so hard for. I didn't have the traditional background of education and university, so I went into an entry-level position and from there just Worked my way up that corporate ladder into the senior management role that I'm in today, technically still. And to be handing in my notice and taking that kind of risk to leave that job that I've worked so hard for a company that I have adored and has supported me so much was, yeah, absolutely terrible. The amount of people as well who thought I was crazy. And I didn't tell a lot of people when I first handed in my notice. It wasn't until a couple of weeks later that people started to find out, and then they realised just how short the time period was that I had left in the UK, and they were like, what's going on? Anyhow, a lot of people thought I was insane, including some of my family. My mom was like, why on earth would you take that kind of risk? Why would you move and leave such a stable and secure job and take this kind of risk to start your own business? And how can you move to another country by yourself? My mom thought I was absolutely insane. I love you dearly, Mom. But you did think I was absolutely insane when I came to these conclusions and these decisions. But from there, 2 weeks after I'd handed in my notice, I had a pre-planned trip to Toronto, which was solely for the purpose of Zenith. I was so fortunate that I got to capture Kira Aston's remaining 2 weeks of prep and her Wellness Pro debut. It was incredible to be able to fly internationally with a client, capture their peak week, capture their show day, and just really enjoy the moment with them. It was incredible. From there, I've just met so many people in the last couple of months. It's been a whirlwind. It's absolutely mind-blowing, and I'm just so grateful. I'm so grateful that I'm so fortunate to have just the sheer amount of people who not only believe in me and support me as a person, but they also believe in the vision of the brand that I'm creating. Anyone that knows me well knows that Zenith is a huge reflection of all of my beliefs and my values, and the vision has never, ever been clearer. Now, with that said, when I returned from Toronto, it was just full steam ahead with registering my business in Dubai, starting the process of getting my visa sorted, starting Hercules up on his vaccinations and getting everything that he needs to fly over. A lot of people have asked me if I'm flying Hercules, and it's not even a question. I would never, ever leave him. I absolutely would never leave him. And if he couldn't come, then I wouldn't go, because this is my entire world sat right here, even though he is a little feisty, spoiled prince. Aren't you, darling? You all must admit he is incredibly handsome. So yes, now I've been on a countdown for the last 30 days. I haven't been able to turn it off. This year has absolutely flown by, and the time just seems to be passing. And it hadn't fully hit me the sheer amount of change that I'm gonna have in this next step again, until I started to say bye to some of the people that are my nearest and dearest. So that started on Sunday. I was looking at one of my closest friends and realising, I don't actually know when I'm going to see you again. And then the same yesterday, I met up with Kyle, who's been my creative mentor and a huge support system for Zenith when I started this venture. And again, I came to the realisation that I don't know when I'm going to see him again. And when I reflect, I've always lived in the UK. And I've always had this desire and this need to get a holiday, escape from my day-to-day reality. And it hasn't been until 2025, this year, for the first time in my life, I feel so at peace with where I'm at. Even before the transition and the move started to Dubai, I felt so at ease, so at peace within myself. And for the first time in my life, I felt like I didn't need to run away. I didn't want to escape. I have built such a strong community, which is not something I've ever really felt like I've had in my life. I always felt like I just wanted to fit in. I always felt like a sheep. I always felt like I needed to follow what everyone else was doing. But this year, I went in with full intention of finding out who I am so I can live in the most authentic way possible. And in that process, on that journey, I found a community of people that I think actually like me for who I am. I just love them all so much. I love my nearest and dearest. They're so close to my heart, and I'm so grateful. I'm so, so grateful for the last 12 months because it's given me so much. And so I'm now in the really bittersweet transition. There are 12 days left remaining in the UK, and it means I'm saying, actually, hang on, I'm reframing that right here, right now. I'm not saying goodbye, I'm saying see you later, because I most certainly am not that easy to get rid of for all of my friends. So I'm reframing it. It's going to be a see you later, not a goodbye. It is so bittersweet because it's so exciting and nerve-wracking, and there are so many emotions intertwined in this transition. I'm excited, I'm nervous, I'm sad that I'm gonna miss people. My heart kind of aches a little bit at that one. It's just so strange. So in 12 days, I'm gonna be in Dubai. This little man is coming a little bit later, and there's some good reasons for that, but maybe we talk about that in another video because this is probably already too long. But yeah, it's so funny when I talk about the friendship side as well and the community side, because in reality I am leaving so many people that I love and I care about, but also I've missed quite a few people in Dubai, so I'm gonna go and gain being with them on the regular basis. I honestly don't know what to do with myself. I'm getting giddy. Excuse you. Okay, Josh. No. So yeah. Ugh, I'm so nervous. You don't even know what's going on. It kind of makes me sad that he doesn't know, and also he's gonna have to fly for the first time in his life. Are you nervous? He doesn't have a Scooby-Doo. I'm very thankful that he is crate trained, because I reckon he will just sleep and he'll be absolutely fine. Aren't you? Are you nervous? Huh? He has definitely been acting out a little bit. As soon as Hercules sees a suitcase, he starts acting a little bit strange. He either associates suitcases with me travelling and leaving him, usually, or with us moving. He just acts really timid. He spends a lot of time in his bed. He'll start barking more. So now, bless his heart, this year, with moving out of my house and then into Hattie's house, that was a transition for him. But we've also been doing a lot of stays at loads of different places, at my foster parents, at my mom's, at friends, at family, all sorts of places. So yeah, he's the type of dog that does like to stay in one location. He settles quite quickly once he's at his new location and he sees our stuff and whatever. But when he doesn't know what's going on and he sees a suitcase, he freaks out. Don't you? Don't you, darling? Anyway, on a side note, if anyone's watching this, any of you guys that do know me well will know that me having curly hair out is a very rare sight to see, and it's been one of my biggest insecurities. I feel like this year I've finally gotten to the point where I actually love my curls, which is astonishing. I've been trying for years to love my curls, but I genuinely believe I do love them now because they are so versatile. I can wear them curly, I can straighten it, I can wear wigs, I can wear weaves, I can wear twists, I can wear braids. They are so versatile, and because of the texture of my hair, it means my hair doesn't get damaged whilst I'm trying to do that versatility. And I also just find them a little bit adorable and crazy and free, and they can just do whatever the hell they want on my head. Noodles on my head. Anyhow, on that note, we're going to end this video here because I am talking pure rubbish. But if you are here, thank you so much for spending your precious time watching this video. Please like, comment and subscribe, all of that stuff. Support this brand new channel, and as always, continue on your rise to zenith.